Hey Google, play Butterfly Fly Away by Miley Cyrus on Spotify. Brush my teeth and comb my hair, scared things wouldn't turn out right. Caterpillar in the tree, can't go far but you can always dream. Butterfly fly away. When I graduated high school, I made a video and I recently stumbled upon it and I'm gonna play it right now.
I'm going to break this down into 3 easy parts to remember: academics, extracurriculars, and dreadfully, making friends.
Making friends.
I know that helped out others, and I wanted to make an updated version for all of you, so here are the 9 things I wish I knew before I went to university. Number 1 is take advantage of the resources on campus. So, you're going to want to do research on everything that your campus has to offer. Look into different clubs that are happening on campus. I'm sure you'll find something, but if you can't find something, then you can also come up with your own club. During my undergrad, I actually was a founding member of the music club on campus called Strings and Things, and that was really cool, being able to meet people outside of my year, outside of my program. Usually the gym and gym classes, that's covered under your tuition, and I was able to go to different classes and meet other people, and they have really cool stuff happening. Another resource I used during my 4 years was health resources. So I went on testosterone, as most of you know, and I had a doctor that I worked with very closely on campus, as well as a counselor, and it was just really great having all of that covered under my tuition. And then finally, academic resources. Make the most out of your academic resources because they are covered under your tuition for the most part. You have tutors, you have subject librarians, different libraries, people who can help you with essays, research, citations. Something that I personally miss now that I've graduated is this thing called the Cage, which is like a library of media toys. So like different cameras, video cameras, DSLRs, lighting equipment, mics. I think we had like a drone was coming sometime soon or something, and it was just super cool to have all those things under my tuition, being able to play with all these different gizmos and gadgets. I just love tech. Number 2 is that it is a myth that everyone has their life together. No one has their life together while in university. I have graduated and I still don't have my life together. It's such a, that's such a strange place to get to, like life together, because you're constantly learning, you're constantly, new pathways are constantly opening up for you. So for someone to say that they have their life together is like, I think that's a very far-fetched idea in some capacity. And that quickly brings us to our third point. Everyone has different standards. Some people are really happy with a 90 average, some people are happy with a 75 average, some people are happy with just passing a class, and whatever your standard is, that is totally cool and totally unique to you. So, just keep moving forward with your goals. Your path is going to be different than everyone else's path, and that is totally awesome. Number 4 is that you only get to do your undergrad once. I once heard that this one person did their undergrad 2 times, and just because they changed majors, and the first time was totally different than the second time, and I think that's really because you only do it once. The second time that you do it around, or if you try to do it again in the future, it's not the same experience. And so although you are focusing on academics, you can go to parties, you can have fun. If parties are your thing, do that. If you want to go to open mics in the city, know that academics isn't the only thing during your post-secondary experience. The balance of having all these different things going on is what is going to make the time the most enjoyable for you. Number 5 is that group projects are still hard. Surprise everyone, it doesn't get much easier, but there are a couple things that you can do to help that out. 1, be really wary about the group that you get into for the project. Your friends aren't necessarily the best group to work with, especially if you get really distracted with them. So take note of that. It's okay for you to say, hey, this is not personal or anything, but I think that we get really distracted together because we have a lot of fun, but it sometimes hinders me from getting work done. And so I think for this project, it's best that we work with other people. And that's totally cool. You're allowed to communicate that. And you're allowed to be assertive. Don't be afraid to communicate things and ask for help. And if you need to, delegate things. Make sure that you are respectful, but you can kind of pitch it in a way that helps everyone play to their strengths. So saying like, hey, so-and-so, I know you're really good at graphic design. Do you want to take lead in the slideshow? At the end of the day, you can't have it all. So just do with what you can and be proud of yourself for doing what you can. Number 6 is that post-secondary is totally different than high school in the sense that you are an adult now, and you have a lot more freedom, and you also don't have to hang out with the people in your classes if you don't want to, and that's totally okay if you don't want to. If you want to be alone, or sit alone when you have lunch, or you want to do something else, you are totally allowed to have your freedom and use it as much as you want, or as little as you want. That doesn't really make sense. But you are totally allowed to use your freedom in any way that you want to use it. Number 7 is that change is inevitable. You might not have the same friends that you have coming into university when you graduate, and that is totally cool. And something that I figured out for myself is that high school was a really, really big place for me to develop and become a different person. But even in university, that is a completely different chapter. But in the same breath, I think that I've grown immensely, like just as much as I did in high school. The person that I was in first year is not the person that I am now, and it is totally scary, and I totally understand if you're scared of that change. But change is inevitable, and the only thing we can do is try to embrace it. Number 8 is that you get what you put in. So I'm not just talking about academics. Obviously, if you put 100% into studying, you will probably do better on a test than if you put 50% into studying. But I'm talking about all the other aspects of university. For example, if you put 100% into going out and joining different clubs, getting out of your comfort zone, getting out of your regular friend group, and being like, hey, maybe I want to make new friends, or I want to make a new friend in my class, and just trying out different experiences, you're going to gain so much more from your experience with understanding yourself and self-discovery than if you decide to just kind of close yourself off to all the different things out on the campus. One thing that I would really try to do when I was in my undergrad was whenever I got like a project, I would try to imagine this project to be the last thing I ever create, and so I want to put all my efforts into it, make something that I'm really super proud of, and something super cool that I can present to other people in the future, and maybe actually use it on my portfolio. Number 9 is that you don't have to have an answer at the end, and I think this is really important to people who are leaving university soon or in the midst of university. If you have an answer, that's super cool, and if you don't, that's fine too. The way that life is kind of structured out for us is that we have different chapters and different, steps that we have to take, elementary school, middle school, high school. But the reality of it is that life is so much more complex than that. People have different pathways. I've heard stories about people who do 8 years of schooling, and then at the end, they're like, this is not what I actually want to do, and they start all over again. And that is cool. That is totally unique to what you want to do, and that's totally fine. Whatever your pathway is, whatever it looks like right now, it is great, and you don't have to have an answer at the end. You don't have to know what you're doing for the rest of your life right now. Maybe 5 years down the road, you want to do something completely different with your life, because you are constantly changing, and that is totally cool. Just be aware that you can do whatever you want right now, or 5 years from now, or next month, and you don't have to have an answer at the end of all of this. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Smash that like and subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this, like, self-improvement and, just lifestyle sort of stuff. Every Thursday, I'm going to be posting a video either for Trans Talks, which is my web series on trans and LGBTQ related things, or it'll be a self-improvement or lifestyle video. Comment down below what you're most excited for this school year. If you are going back to school, or if you've just graduated, comment down below what you are excited about for, the next year. If you have any requests, also leave them down below, or you can message me on any of my social media pages. They're in the description, and I also think they're here or here. I don't know if I'm flipping this video or not. But anyway, have a great day. I hope your summer is doing wonderful if you are in summer right now. And I will see you next week. Sending all my love. See you later.